residents in the city. They had been shutting off water for years, but nowhere on this scale.
Welcome, beloved community. We are back again with yet another installment of the People's Water Board Coalition's Water Wednesday webcast. As always, I'm here with my beloved co-host Valerie Jean,
Hi, everyone.
and we can't forget our behind-the-scenes tech guru extraordinaire, Miss Angelica, that keeps us running smoothly and consistently week in and week out. And today we're having another hot topic show, people. These topics just keep flying off the news feeds to us, and we feel that it's only right to get the information to you so you can make informed decisions.
Yeah.
With that being said, it's a short show, and we're going to start off talking about something that's all too familiar, the city of Flint.
Yeah, we've been in the struggle with Flint for a long time. Detroit and Flint have been in the struggle for a long time. You and I have been on the ground in Flint. We know the
Yes.
organizers in Flint. We've worked with them. We have passed out water in Flint since the beginning of the crisis in Flint. We've been there, so we hold this real close to us.
Absolutely. And this is directly from pbs.org. You can see the link will be in the below the chat in the description, and you can go on and read the full transcript of the issue, and I'll say some of the transcript while we're talking. So most people know about the Flint water crisis. Maybe let a few less people know that this July, the city of Flint says that they have completed the work of replacing as many as 11,000 lead pipes,
Which is big. That's great progress.
which is great progress, but it was mandated by a 2017 settlement. So when you think about that's been since 2017,
Oh,
I
yeah,
personally
no,
feel they
that's been
could
a
have
long time.
done a better job.
Yeah,
But the thing is even with all those pipes, which are, don't get me wrong, are a tremendous amount, there are still lead pipes remaining in Flint
yeah.
and a bunch of other cities across the country. So Al Rogan, who did this interview for PBS.org, spoke with Eric Olson of NRDC, which stands for the Natural Resources Defense Council. So it's really been more than a decade since the alarm was ringed and sounded about the high lead levels that were in Flint, Michigan's tap water. And this month, the city has completed or said they completed the work of as many, as I said before, 11,000 pipes that were mandated by a court settlement that was approved in 2017. And the fact that there are still lead lines remaining is one of the focusing forces behind the settlement. They've had to go back to court 6 times and consistently track to see if the city was actually following through on what was mandated by this court agreement. And the court has finally held the
The
city of
people have been
Flint.
so harmed. They should not have to fight like that.
They are harmed. They have been severely harmed. And it's not just, I'm hurt now and I'll heal. This is lifelong issues that they'll have to deal
Generations,
with
because women would
for
have when they have
generations
babies,
to
they pass
come.
lead poisoning on to their babies for generations.
Exactly. And the fact that the court has held the city in contempt, which forced the state to take over most of the finishing up of this project. So that shows us that the city officials at Flint are still not concerned about the
Hands on.
havoc that's been wreaked on their communities and
Yeah,
on their citizens,
yeah,
because the state should not have had to step in and supersede when you were mandated by a court
yeah,
settlement. The vast majority of pipes they believe have been pulled out, and most of the restorations have been done. But there are still some pipes that need to be removed and restored. And even though this is a really big milestone in protecting the citizens of Flint, we have to realize that talking to activists in Flint, which apparently Al Rogan played a soundbite from Melissa Mays, which is an all-time hero of mine.
And she's a dear friend of ours.
And a dear friend, yes, but she's just like amazing. She was talking about the dangerous pipes that are still located in the ground in Flint. Even though they just celebrated the end of a 10-year process of getting the service lines out of the ground, just a few days after that, they found out the city uncovered 3,200 addresses that they skipped previously. So
You mess
3,200
everything up.
addresses.
The least that you can do is do your best to efficiently fix it and don't leave anybody out. That's,
The
just
thing
the,
is that when you hear 3,200, don't mistakenly think that's just 3,200 people.
no,
That's
those are
3,200
households.
addresses. Most of these homes have multiple members in their household. So this could be in upwards of 10
In
to
these times, you
20,000
can have
people
two
that are
families
affected.
living in a household, right?
This
I
could be
mean,
in upwards of 10 to 20,000 or more people affected by
these
this.
times are hard.
She states that they are still using bottled water, which is another expense added onto these people, have already been taxed through the wazoo with medical bills and trying to mitigate the causes and effects of having this lead laden water for years. They still have to buy bottled water to brush their teeth, to drink, and to cook with, and to give their pets. And many residents have had their pets die. And I don't know about you, viewers, but when I have a pet, it's like a member of my family.
Yeah, they were
So
losing in the beginning. Shoot, they were losing big patches of hair. They go out, their
hair,
coats would be
skin
just
rashes.
gone.
We're not even getting into the internal
Yeah.
decimation of their bodies that occurred from this lead laden water. So Al Rogan asked Eric Olson from NRDC a very, very poignant question. How was it that those additional pipes were missed? And his response was that it was a good question. And he'd like to know how the city was unable to identify those pipes. Yeah. So NRDC is making it their mission to follow up on this. But all the city can say is that the vast majority of the pipes were replaced and that the addresses that were somehow overlooked. Eric Olson states that this is a real concern for NRDC. And there's, even though they're celebrating the people power which created this settlement, trust me, it was a people power. It was power. It was not our local legislation and it
No,
was not our state legislation
no,
that
they
did
were
it.
abandoned
It was the
a little bit.
people from the city of Flint and surrounding areas that showed support. There were boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Um,
We were there
but
and
there's
witnessed
still
it
a lot of
ourselves.
work to be done.
I wonder if there's ever going to be real justice for the people of Flint. They were harmed so
I,
terribly
I
for
would hope
generations.
so.
But it's slowly but surely looking so bleak.
And it's definitely not going to move any faster under this current administration. The sad thing about this, people, is when people hear about the Flint water crisis, they think issues like this is limited to Flint and maybe a couple other big cities. But NRDC did a survey and the EPA did an evaluation, and it looks like there are about 9 million of these lead pipes in every single solitary 50 states, and
Yeah.
they service tens of millions of people with water. So it's basically like drinking out of a lead straw. This is quoted directly from the transcripts. So the thing is that our previous administration took initiative and said we're going to get rid of the lead pipes across the country in 10 years. That's supposed to be across the whole U.S. And now we're awaiting whether the current administration is going to honor that commitment and finish pulling out all these lead pipes in the next 10 years.
And it needs to start now, and it should have started a long time ago. They knew that the lead service lines and the lead pipes were bad from the get.
The thing about that statement is I'm saddened and angered at the same time, which is why we stay involved in this work. But I don't see this being made a priority by the current administration.
They've got their own intentions.
They have their own intentions and
Yep.
agenda. And Eric Olson says that they are very concerned about what this current administration may try to pull back, that they may try to pull back on its commitment. Even though they haven't stated it publicly yet or discussed their plans, the bad news is that they've pulled back on some other other drinking water standards. Forever chemicals, which we will talk about in another show. And they announced they're going to repeal a lot of those standards that the EPA currently had in place. And we really just don't know what this will spell for our communities.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's you have to care about people in water. You would think as, people who are voted in, but they don't most of the time.
Water
Unfortunately,
is the most important
they don't.
element and necessity to all life, not just human life, but animal life, plant life, in the
Yeah.
entire ecosystem.
Yeah. We are with you, my friends, in Flint, and
Yes. Power
uh
to the people.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we'll be boots on the ground with you whenever we need to be. And
Absolutely.
it's a great way to kind of what you said, water is life. Everybody needs it.
We do.
Kind of move into our next little segment because it's a tough one. I
It
mean,
is.
it is. NASA satellite data has revealed that the Colorado River Basin has seen massive groundwater loss over
It's
the last
drying up.
decade. Massive ground, and over half of that, like over half of it, is in Arizona. It looks like Arizona is about to be in a serious crisis. I think they have been for a long time.
Not just Arizona, but 7 other
Yeah,
states
7 states. Yeah, but
surrounding, and
Arizona's,
Mexico.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The other 7 states, Arizona is the one being hit the worst. Over half of
Yes.
it's in Arizona, and this is because of climate change. NASA very, very in their report
Stated
said
that it was
this is
due
because
directly
of
to climate
climate
change.
change, right?
Yes.
But it's it's Wyoming, Utah, New Mexico, Colorado, California, Nevada. Those places are
All
in
the
real.
Southwest states and desert states with large expansions of unoccupied land and desert area.
Yeah, I mean, and those people don't, because they're not close to a lot of water. They they have to use their groundwater. Their groundwater is so important for the
Absolutely.
survival of everything. And to see, because of climate change, that it's drying up the way that it is, and you see it at other places around the world. Weren't you talking about another place that there's it's happening all over the world?
Definitely, definitely. It's a
The
very frightening thought to even think about it. I remember hearing a few years back that California was even looking into running some type of pipeline to get water from the Great Lakes around the Michigan basin and aquifers. Just
Yeah.
knowing that you have to come all the way from the farthest west coast to the Midwest to get water is frightening.
It's very frightening. And because of the Great Lakes Water Compact, we don't let people draw water. And I'm grateful for it. Not that we want
Absolutely.
people to we don't want people to live without water, not at all. But draining the Great Lakes for states across the way just is it's not sustainable. It's not. Everybody needs access to it, so we need to figure out sustainable reasons. Check out this stuff that our Angelica, our tech guru, came up with from the UN. It's startling that 22. This is from the UN, WHO, and UNICEF. 22 billion people lack access to safely managed drinking water services, including 15 million people who drink service water. It's, like 3.5 billion people still lack safely managed sanitation, including 419 million who practiced open defecation. And that means just like, you got to go to the bathroom, you go to the water, right? People
Mhm.
didn't know, that's how it was always done. It also says better water and sanitation and hygiene could prevent the deaths of around 1,000 children a.
That's a tremendous number. I don't
Yeah,
think I've ever seen 1,000 children together in one space
yeah, like, there's.
outside of a school.
Yeah, water related disasters have dominated the list of disasters over the past 50 years and account for 70% of all deaths related to natural disasters. That's, again, we're talking about climate change here. 80% of wastewater flows back into the ecosystem without being treated or unused. All of these things like this, it's we're in a global crisis when it comes to water. There's solutions, There are ways, but we have to put in the work to get it done. And unfortunately, we're going to have to push the federal government
Yeah.
here in America, everywhere around the world, is going to have to push their local governments to act. We're going to have to be
But
in
that's
the
such a
streets and pushing
frightening
them to act
thought.
because there are solutions. We have technologies. There are things that we can do that aren't they just don't have the will to do.
And researchers from Northwestern University said that by 2100, which seems so far off, but it's really only like 60 years, not even a good 70 years around the corner. That nearly a billion people, approximately 850 million, will experience the effects of reduction of water flow from all major rivers, and that the water scarcity is directly due to declining runoff from major rivers due to climate change.
Yeah, this is something that we have to start thinking about. We have to start talking about. We should have a long time ago, but we're going to have to start pressing our local governments from globally from around the world to come up with water solutions. Stop sending money for wars, stop sending money for ice, stop sending money for concentration camps. Please,
Hmm.
please spend some money on making sure that water is safe and affordable for people. Like this is for,
I think all of our U.S. senators and Congress people should take a small cut in pay. That's a good way to start it.
I mean, I guess
And then
that's a
cut
good
the
way to
war
start.
economy.
They need to have the will. I'd much rather them just have the will. We have the money. We give a whole bunch of it away for war and all kinds of nefarious, horrible shit. Like we do. We have the resources, we have the technology, we have the money. There's no will.
Yes.
There is no will whatsoever in their hearts and minds to make sure that people have safe, affordable water.
Have you ever heard of Day Zero?
Say it again.
Day Zero.
Day zero.
Northwestern University is naming it Day Zero. That is the day that they're predicting where water supplies will be completely exhausted.
Not sure I want to know that.
It's either going to be because of the severe water crisis. Not only that, but the potential widespread disruption that's caused by contamination as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah.
basically, they're saying our natural water sources will be depleted, and the water sources we have left will be contaminated.
Yeah. Yeah. These are
And
scary times.
that's when you'll see companies like Blue Triton selling water for $150,000 a case.
Yeah, it's it's a hard thing to talk about, but it's
It
going to
is.
take us, the global majority of us, to demand that water technology and money and resources go to making sure that everybody has water. We could do it. There just needs to be a will. There needs to be a will.
Absolutely.
Something a little lighter, something you can do.
Yes. A way to get involved.
Yes, here for our folks, at least here in Michigan, unless you want to travel a little ways.
It's
The
summer, a
paddle,
nice summer trip.
yeah, yeah. Michigan's nice in the summer and in the winter.
It is beautiful.
We love this girl. So the Paddle for the Planet event, I mentioned it last week, but I'm reminding folks is this weekend coming up, 15 years after the Kalamazoo oil spill. It's the largest inland oil spill in America. It's a tar sands oil spill, so it was impossible to clean up and devastating. So folks are going to be taking their kayaks. This is a family-friendly event, so it's a great way to introduce your kids into resistance and protesting. It's going to be it's Saturday, July 26th, and from 10 to 1 p.m. Bring a canoe or any kind of floating device that you may have,
Inner tube.
inner tube, whatever you got. You just come and bring it. It's going to be a beautiful gathering. And I hope that folks go and support and do what you can. Like I said, these are the best protests that for a family because they're fun and you don't have to worry about too much. Just take care of each
Absolutely.
other in the water, right? So I wanted to invite folks for that. Nicole, it's always hard when we have these shows and they're like to the just the real hard stuff. But
It
I
is.
appreciate you always going on this journey with me so much.
Thank you.
And the research and work that you put in, that we all put in, to make the show happen. To our viewers, don't lose hope. Go sit in the grass, find a good high vibe space, take your shoes off.
Meditate for a minute.
Yep, yep, and don't lose hope. Don't feel like there's
Absolutely.
none, because you are the hope. And after that, get on your feet, find somewhere where you can plug in, and be a part of that. Right? It's
Yes.
not too late for us. And until next time, my friends, take care of each other and try to stay afloat. Bye.
Bye.